So I haven't had a lot of infatuations in my life, but the few obsessions I've had have seemed to grow exponentially in my life. When I was 12, I was absolutely, unequivocally, and totally in love with Corey Haim. I'd seen the movie Lucas, and he was so cute, and he was so smart. I mean, he was 12, and he was going into the 10th grade, and he was just so sensitive, and I loved him so much, and I plastered my walls with images of him from all over, you know, Teen Beat and Tiger Beat and 16 magazine. And my uncle indulged me by printing out a full-color dot matrix image of Corey from his Apple IIe computer. Now, you know, at the time it was cutting edge, but you know, now it's just a bunch of polka dots. And I found myself one Saturday sitting in my room, it was raining, it was cold, and looking at my picture from my uncle. Corey, I love you so much. It hurts. And you live in California, and you're never gonna come to Acton, Massachusetts. And I can't even drive. I have to end it, it's over. And I could actually hear his voice sort of coming from all the images from Tiger Beat around my room saying, "But Julie, I love you." And I just, no, it's over. And at that moment I realized I have got to be more grounded. This is ridiculous. It's, you know, pie in the sky obsession with some strange guy I don't even know. I've got to get my head out of the clouds. And I looked up and I was like, oh, the clouds. And I got really interested in NASA all of a sudden, and I was really focused on just the space program, and particularly the flyboys of the space program. Now, you might think that I was like an old school girl and I was really interested in Neil Armstrong, or maybe a new school girl and I really loved Sally Ride. But for me, it was astronaut captain Eugene Cernan, the last man to walk on the moon. And once again, my Uncle Lyman indulged me, and this time from his Apple IIe computer, he printed for me an image of the full cast of the 1985 film Space Camp. And I knew at that moment, oh my God, of course, I'll go to Space Camp, because then I'll know how to be an astronaut, and Eugene and I can do great things together. Julie, he'll say, Julie, you and I will expand the boundaries of the universe together. And I knew that it was meant to be. Just months before I was supposed to go to Huntsville, Alabama to space camp in my junior year of high school, it happened. Eugene Cernan was scheduled to come to my high school in Acton, Massachusetts to speak. The night of the event, I clutched my program, and as I stood in line to get his autograph, I was so excited. I reached him at the dais and I handed him my program and I said, "Captain Cernan, it is an honor and a pleasure to meet you." And he looked up at me and he beamed really big and he winked at me. The stars were aligned. He winked at me. We are going to be together. I will now tell him of Space Camp. It will all come together. I'm going to be an astronaut, and we are going to do everything we need to do for the rest of our lives together, and he will no longer be the last man to do anything. And as he looked back up to hand me my program, he smiled broadly again and winked at the girl right over my shoulder. I found myself again in my room on a rainy day, looking now at two pictures from my Uncle Lyman and his Apple IIe computer, and I was distraught. What am I doing? This is ridiculous. These people don't even know me. Why would I think that they would be interested? This is so stupid. These pictures are so cool. They've always been with me. And they came from a really kind of cool machine. I mean, it's elegant, it's efficient, and it's got a really cute rainbow Apple logo. And it was made by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he's fascinating. And he's really kind of cute, but you know, he can stay married. I'm not worried about that. And he's so smart. He would say to me, Julie, you and I need to work together. You are an amazing human being, and the people of this world need to know more about you. You should come work with me at Apple. And it was a done deal. After I graduated from college, I found myself attracted frequently to a lot of Apple fanboys. I started dating a man named Dan, who had basically denounced everything that had anything to do with education unless it was Apple related. Julie, college is stupid and it was a waste of your money and I can't believe you went. Everything I needed to know, I learned from an Apple. I built Hackintoshes from the ground up and I'm awesome. And it's true. You know, I learned how to edit films in Final Cut Pro, and I was able to do some basic programming in Terminal, and to this day, I still value the fact that I can turn off my Mac computer without ever actually touching the power button. But our relationship soon ended. I'd gotten what I needed from him, and I needed to move on. In fact, I did. I went to graduate school, and I paid through the nose for it. And when I left graduate school and got my first job in a production company, I realized I needed more money to pay off those student loans. And it was time. I would get a part-time job at the Apple Store. So I applied, and I got the job. And it soon became very obvious to myself and my colleagues and my managers that I was destined for more. This was, I was a salesperson, a part-time salesperson. And soon enough, I was promoted to Apple Genius. My newly promoted colleagues and I, Dawn and Mike, were sent off to training in Cupertino, California at the mothership. We immediately on our first day were set free at lunchtime to go to the famed Cafe Max, the exclusive employee cafeteria with gourmet food. We found the one free table, sat down, and I'm clutching my iPhone 3GS ready to Facebook or tweet whatever the hell happens to me. And I'm looking around, and as I turn my head to the left, just a smidge, I haven't completely turned, eating sushi and wasabi, right next to me is Steve Jobs. He's right next to me. Steve, I'm right here. Hi, over here. You've been waiting for me. It's been years. I know. I'm sorry it took so long. But actually, what I really said was, Dawn, Mike, don't look, but look. Don't look, but look. And I'm shaking, and I'm sweating, and I'm crying because I'm sitting next to Steve Jobs, and I drop my iPhone. Ah! And I go and I pick up my phone and I check to make sure it's okay, and in that moment I have turned away and I look back, and he's gone. And I bolt back into the main room of the Cafe Max, searching in vain for him, and I think I see him going into the men's room. And I plunge forward to find out if that foot really does belong to him inside the men's room. And I elbow somebody out of my way to get there, and at the same moment, Dawn, my colleague, grabs me by the shoulder and says, Juliet, you just elbowed Steve Jobs. No! Oh my God! And my colleague Mike comes up to me, he says, Juliet, it's okay, chill out. You've got a whole 3 weeks here, you'll be able to redeem yourself. Come with me this week, I'm getting an Apple tattoo. Get one with me. You'll show everyone your dedication. He's right. Maybe we can get the little Apple rainbow logo? That would be cool. I did it. It hurt like hell, but I did it. And my last day at Cafe Max, I knew I was calm. And in this very outfit, I sat at my table, and Mike approached, and all he had to do was look at me, nod, and flick his head back once, and I knew Steve was down there. I stood up from the table, and like a cinematic moment, the wind blew up this wrap on my shoulders and revealed the Apple tattoo that I had received in pain. And as I walked down the aisle, Steve Jobs was right there. And no, he wasn't just looking in my direction, he was looking right at me. And I just kept going, and I nodded once, and I never looked back because I knew that he knew that I had arrived.